doop doop doop. Womp womp womp. And we're back.
Are we sticking with
No, 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 no,
soft and
no.
wet as our?
I don't think so. I mean, soft and wet.
I'm thinking because
Because if we're gonna stay the two
season
Josuke's.
2, we got season 2, new protagonist, new stand,
Mm-hmm.
new potential 8-bit cover that we
Right.
could be utilizing, but also, you know, soft and wet is the brand for us,
Yeah.
you know.
It's our thing. All right. Well, conversations about musical intros notwithstanding, welcome the fuck back to the first
Dude,
episode of
it
the
is so
Locacacast,
nice.
covering part
It is so
9,
nice to be.
the JOJOLands.
It is so nice to be back and talking with you, Zach.
Mm.
I have so missed these conversations.
The feeling is mutual, buddy. God damn. It's been exactly how long? It was August of 2021 that JoJolian ended. Now here we fucking are.
And
In
we've
February
technically,
of 23.
I think we've technically had some recording sessions since then, but not talking about JoJo per se.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. God damn,
But
though. What a
how
big
has the interim
milestone.
been treating you?
It's good, man. I have been going on a lot of adventures. My life has been cool recently. You know, I've been having a lot of fun, but because I've been having so much fun, I've been maybe neglecting the things that are actually important to do. And now, I'm finding some way to perfectly split the difference and get the important shit done and take care of myself, but then also have fun. You know, I'm fixing my terrible dental health now, and I'm working hard on getting that in order so I can be in good shape for the rest of my life. So, you know, enjoying my time, but also with an eye to the future. I've been doing great, man.
Well, that's important. Got to make sure you're taking care of yourself.
How you been in the interim, pal?
So what I've been doing in the interim is basically, more of the same, more or less. I'm back in college for a new semester. This is actually probably going to be my second to last semester, and then I'm a graduate.
Ooh. I was talking to my buddy Dakota recently. He's really, really fucking smart. I met him in high school. And I said to him, I saw him, I was like, hey, so how's school going? And he looked at me and he was like, I graduated. I'm done. And all of a sudden I felt like just like an out of touch uncle. Like, hey, how old are you now, kid?
Oh no. Yeah,
Anyway.
no, that's I haven't spoken to my extended family in so long.
Hmm.
So I'm actually going up on spring break to meet with a couple of relatives.
You still over in that same spot in Southern California?
I am still in Southern California. Yeah, the extended family is up north in Oregon.
Oh, dang. All right, well, that's worth a road trip.
Well, actually, I'm flying.
That's
It's
worth a plane trip. Hey,
well,
well, you know
I
what?
actually I don't like flying that much. I think we're driving back though, so thankfully it's only the one flight up.
Well, you know what? You should count yourself lucky that there are no fucking JoJos on your flight, because that shit would be hitting the dirt near
Oh
instantly
yeah.
after takeoff.
Oh yeah. Um, what else was I gonna say? Started reading the JoJo spinoff.
Oh my god,
Have you read this?
I am such a fake fan, Chris.
Oh
I have
no.
been keeping up with its developments through the Hum on Beat YouTube channel. I've been watching Hum on Beat's chapter reviews, and so I know what's going on in the story, but I have yet to sit down and read it myself.
Well, that's okay. I've yet to read the latest chapter actually. So
Mm. I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. I think that the thing that I like the most is that they're given the part 3 characters who were just sort of thrown away and never mentioned again something to do, and that we're bringing vampires back. Like, that's something
exactly.
I'm also a fake fan. I never read Purple Haze Feedback, but I know what the general plot is, and I think it's really cool that the Stone Mask shows back up in that, and the characters have to like destroy it before another vampire happens.
Well, it's also it's a smaller scale, lower stakes thing.
Yeah.
This is Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak, I think is what it was called.
Yes. And I really like that it's got lower stakes. Not every JoJo story has to be a world-ending threat.
It's they take like one enemy stand user, and that is all they're fighting basically for the duration of the part.
I know, it's like one long, detailed fight. I think it's really cool. But I gotta read it myself at some point. I gotta cast off my fake fanness.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And we can have like a proper cast on that, or
Oh
like a
yeah,
mini section of an episode
100%. That's
when
gotta
we're
be a
both caught
segment.
up.
Gotta be a segment on the Crazy Diamonds Demonic Heartbreak. But you know, it's crazy. I really thought, speaking of crazy and diamonds,
Am I right?
JoJoLands. No, but I really thought that Demonic Heartbreak would wrap up before JoJoLands began. So I think it's kind of crazy. We have two JoJo series running concurrently for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Crazy.
JoJo fans eating good.
Yeah, we eatin'. Delicious.
And
I'm
this
so
is this
stoked.
is this new part coming in clutch, like what, couple of months after part 6 anime ended.
Yeah, Part 6 anime, the last batch, came out December 1st of 2022. Oh, wait, we got to talk about that. We never did the Green Dolphin Hour. We never did the Green Dolphin Hour.
Yeah, well, life got in the way. In fact, like this episode almost didn't happen this week, or rather, like it was going to be uh, yesterday, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and then life got in the way, and then it was going to be today, but it's only possible today because my class for today is we're doing it online. So
Well, I'm glad we could find a place to sneak this in. I wanna get back to a place where we're just doing these. We just blast out a podcast and upload it. You know, we're still using the old loadout or layout rather. By the time you see the next episode, we will have a sweet new layout. Although really, it's going to be exactly the same with maybe a minor color change in the background to signify that we're
well,
now on the JoJo lands.
it's not going to be exactly the same. I got a So I actually threw out the old PSD for this.
Yeah, bummer.
So I've got to reconstruct it from memory
I was
and
actually just
from
gonna
this
go in
reference.
because we still have the logo, the Locacacast, like just the text. We still got that, don't we?
Yeah, yeah, I've got most of the assets.
Yeah, so we've got the
Uh,
logo and we've got the little picture that Gem Boy drew for us of the two Josuke's. So really, all we need to do is cut out this left half, redo the tessellated diamonds in the background, and then I don't think the font can be saved. I don't think we can cut out the background without fucking up the font. So we got to redo the font and the background, and then we've still got the Locacacast logo and the Josuke's in the
so
bag, so we can just pop those back on.
it's not gonna be as difficult a job as like I was making it out to be earlier, but like it's definitely the kind of thing that like if we were to do this today, we would not be recording today.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to prime the audience, if there is one even at this point. Like, don't expect a whole new bespoke piece of Gem Boy art for this new season. I think we're gonna stay the two Josuke's. Because that's our history. We started as a Part 8 podcast, you and me discussing our different ideas of where the story's gonna go, our different takes on Josuke. The two Josuke's that exist within you. One of them is gay, and the other one is a ghost.
and
They are
also
fighting.
like that's also the brand. Locacacast is the brand, and
Right.
we can't exactly come up with a new brand right now because we don't know enough about this part we're going into.
Yeah, we don't have anything to make puns about yet. But here's the thing. I want to stay the Locacacast because I am effing sure that the Locacaca is going to come up at some point in Part 9. I mean, I don't know if it's
Oh,
going
it's
to be
certainly
a big
I certainly hope
thing.
so because because like part 8 left a lot of questions about you know like what's going to be the fate of certain characters. Like they basically screwed over Holly in that part.
I have so much I want to say about this. Are we getting into it? Are we doing it? Are we getting into the chapter discussion?
I guess we can get into it. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Here we go. Well, I was so excited when I downloaded this and I started reading it because I finally got to make. Here, I'll show the audience. I have a ton of JoJo zipped up on my computer. Like I have all of part 5 and part 6 and part 7 and part 8 just downloaded, just ready to read offline. Because I don't like the web readers. You know, I'll use them if I have to, but rather not. Oh, hang on. There we go. Now people can see. So I have a JoJo folder. And for a while, because I didn't have parts 1 through 4 because I didn't read them. I watched those ones in anime form. So all of the parts that I read, that I'm attached to, like the way the panels look, and I like the way the manga was more than the anime, part 5, 6, 7, and 8, I've got them all downloaded. So it was so exciting for me to go into my JoJo folder and make a new folder for part 9, the JOJOLands. That was such a moment. I was like, oh my god, it's really happening.
Yeah, this is this is like, because for the entirety of the time that I've been interested in and watching and reading anime and manga, there have only been 8 JoJo parts.
I think for the vast majority of American JoJo fans, they have known it always as a story told in 8 parts. You know, JOJOLians started in 2011, the fucking anime started in 2012 with part 1. So I think this is a big moment for all of us. We're really crossing a threshold. We're in a new era. I'm fucking stoked, man. This is great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
in fact, I remember as I was reading Steel Ball Run, I came across an ad for the for part 1 anime.
Yeah. That's so cool because it's like you and me, fans who were made by that anime, people who were made JoJo fans by that 2012 anime, reading back through Steel Ball Run and seeing it be announced as like...
Technically, I joined quite a bit later, actually. I joined probably around the time that part 3 was already in progress.
I joined a little later than you, I think. I was jumping in right as part 3 was over. So it was completed. So like when I caught up, I got to see Jotaro beat Dio. And then I waited like 6 months, 8 months for the part 4 anime to release. So that was the first anime that I was around watching week by week live. And unfortunately, even though I'd watched all of 4 week by week and all of 5, and it was a wonderful experience, and I love JoJo Fridays, they decided to drop part 6 in fucking batches. I still don't get that.
Oh, yeah. Rip in peace, JoJo Friday.
Bro,
you will be missed.
Every single episode of part 6 had like a week's worth of memes and discussion and details that we could have talked about on Twitter with each other, you know, us, the JoJo fans. But instead, it was like, here's 12 at once. And then like, you know, we could have had 32 consecutive JoJo Friday, 36, 37, I don't even know how many episodes there were. We could have had 30-something consecutive JoJo Fridays. And instead, they were just like... we'll just dump it on you all at once, whatever. I'm bummed.
They didn't even have, like... They like, this was the first part, I think, that, like, had only one ending. One ED, rather.
Oh my god, yeah, that's true.
Like, since
part 1.
Since part 3.
Oh.
No, since part 2. Part 2, yeah.
Yes.
Because it was part 1 and part 2, they shared roundabout.
Indeed.
And then since then, every part has had at least 2 EDs.
Yeah. Hey, what's your favorite JoJo ending?
Favorite. Let me think. You know, at the risk of sounding like a complete normie, I think it's Roundabout, actually.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Roundabout... I didn't know. That was before I was really into like old music, you know. Like I discovered JoJo at a time in my life where I was pretty much just listening to video game music, and like, you know, the few real artists, quote unquote, that I had collected. But then I heard Roundabout for the first time, and I was like, yo, this doesn't sound like anime music at all. What is this? And that made me discover Yes, which is now my favorite prog rock band, and I love 70s music, and Chris Squire is my favorite bassist. So, like, Roundabout is very important to me. It's foundational for my music taste that I developed now.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as big a thing for me, but, like, you know, I do enjoy just that song in particular.
It's
and
great.
JoJo introduced it to me.
And I love it. It made me really feel something deep down inside when they threw Roundabout at us one last time at the end of part 6. That was
Oh,
really
for
nice.
sure.
That was a
Yeah,
great touch.
that was I think the best send off that we could have hoped for the universe of
Yeah.
parts 1 through 6.
And we got those sweet little, like the nicely like brightly colored like silhouettes, the vignettes of the character. You can just see their outlines and we go through all the parts. No, it made me feel feelings. I was like, oh, we've come so far. Because I've been watching JoJo since 2014. Yeah, end of 2014. Because part 4 came out April of 2015. Am I getting that wrong? It's okay, I'm looking it up, don't worry. Part 4 anime release. JoJo. Yeah, okay, so April 2016. So I've been watching JoJo since late 2015.
That's crazy. That's
8 years ago.
That's around when I got started with mashups.
Yeah.
2016.
That's the sad. Remember, I was going through the history of West one time, and like I invited you and John, and you were like, "I don't have a microphone," and then didn't show up in the Discord for like 2 years. Then I invited HBJ, but for a minute there, it was just me and John, right? And we didn't speak for 2 weeks. Like I checked, and I saw the Discord. It was like we had stopped talking, and nobody said anything for multiple weeks. And then I was like, "Hey, just started JoJo," and John was like, "Oh man, what do you think?" So, in a way, JoJo is responsible for me having these friends and continuing my mashup career and having West at all. Because I think without something to talk about at that critical moment, West would have fizzled and died. Like, it was just me and John, and we had run out of things to talk about. So, JoJo was a life preserver in that moment. It's important to me in many ways, this series. Anyway.
And that was basically what kept it on life support until we had this big explosion of members later.
Yeah, and then eventually, because we were like, that's so funny, Merc was one of the original 3 members, and now he's just not here. Eventually you came back, and I was like, hey, the gang's all here, this is great. So it stayed alive long enough, even into the present day. 8 years since the beginning of my mashup career and the beginning of my JoJo love. And now, here we are with part 9.
I sure hope they kept Holly on life support.
Ooh.
Because that would be...
Were you going for that on purpose when you said life support?
No, that I just came up with that on that segue on the spur of the moment.
Chris.
Sorry.
God, you're lightning fast with the fucking quips today, bro.
Because, yeah, it's like... I don't know what Araki was thinking when he wrote the ending of part 8, but like he left a lot of characters basically just completely boned.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to talk about, which was that you were mentioning Holly before, and Holly's kind of fucked, and then just now you said life support. So before we even start the fucking chapter, I know we've just been talking about bullshit and catching up with each other for 20 minutes, but this is the podcast. We are friends. This man, Chris, he's not some sort of professional associate that I have to, tactfully maneuver around and do this show with. This man is my friend, and we're catching up, and if you don't like it, there's timestamps in the description. Suck my ass. Anyway.
Okay, maybe there are time. Oh, hold on.
The California King Bed cheese pieces.
Let me figure out how to talk for a second.
I'm gonna write a story. Sorry.
Maybe there are time scamps in there.
Scamps.
That one.
I'm gonna write a story.
I did that just for you.
I'm gonna write a story about like twin children who are traveling through time, and it's called Time Scamps.
Maybe there are time scamps in the description. You can't be writing checks that I can't cash.
Yeah,
Zach.
That's true. That was definitely just volunteering you for work that you've not yet agreed to do. I'm sorry. Anyway, Holly Joestar. Now I don't know about you, Christopher Merkel Studios, but for me, one of the greatest panels, one of the greatest moments in all of JoJolian is right at the end of chapter 92. And it's where he's shirtless and he's just got rocks on his face. He just got them and he's taken off the bandages and he says, "I'll save you, ... I swear it." And that, the awesomeness of that, how cool and fucking how awesome I thought it was when I first saw it, and how I was like, oh my god, this story's really picking up. I
Speaking
thought,
of writing checks that we can't cash.
yeah, that moment continues to be devalued as a great moment by everything that has come after it. He says, I'll save you, I swear it, and then does absolutely nothing to get that goal accomplished for the rest of the part. Like, he's pretty much just floundering. Like, it's all he can do to just fight for his life and make it from one panel to the next. It sucks. You can't give an I'll save you, I swear it dramatic moment like that to somebody who, in the end, is not going to save that person. I don't think he knew when he wrote that he would be leaving Harley's fate up in the air at the end of the part. I think when he wrote that, he had another way that things were supposed to go that we never saw. But it's stupid to speculate about JoJo cut content. I mean, it's not like Araki said he had more he wanted to put in the story, but due to, quote, various reasons, he wasn't able to draw it all. Right? Right.
Isn't that exactly what he said?
Yeah, it's in an author's note. It's like the author's note for one of the last volumes of JoJolian, and that's my smoking gun, that author's note. I point to that, and I'm like, see, the plan was changed at some point. He did have more, and he did have to scale it back, and that's why it's weird.
I hope that that's not a past tense. Had more. I hope that we do get to check in on the characters and other stuff from part 8 in part 9, because I'm just, and I don't want this second season of the Locacacast to be constantly just ragging on how bad the ending of part 8 was, but like, you have to understand, Araki made a promise to all of us, and then didn't deliver on it.
Exactly. And I feel like there are things about JoJolian's ending that I like, but I'm constantly wrestling with, in my mind, the question of, like, where do I cut the story off and change it? You know what I mean? Chapter 92? Chapter 95, when Jobin kills his father? Chapter whatever? You know, like, where is the cutoff for, like, okay, this is the point at which JoJolian stopped being absolute fucking peak and started being, I don't like this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where we're going. Everything's wrong now. I don't know where that point is, but I want to find the exact cutoff point. Because a lot of people say that only the first half of JoJolian is good. Like, up to Vitamin C and Killer Queen. Up to Vitamin C and Killer Queen arc. And the second half is just mid. But, like, no, fucking Ozone Baby, the Urban Gorilla, Mamazuku makes his arm into a crossbow. Like, there's all sorts of great shit happening in the second half, but it just does not stick the landing. So various people have various ideas about where they'd cut it off and say, this is the good part, unequivocally. And I still haven't made my decision on that. I'm not sure where I'd cut it. Definitely before fucking Jobin dies and doesn't come back. Definitely before Kato shows up and does nothing.
I've heard people genuinely try to defend the end of part 8 to me. It's like, how do you make it that far and then not realize that this is not the optimal, or like not even the optimal. This is a bad way to. This is a bad way to end a story.
It just doesn't jive with everything that came before. Excuse me, everything that was set up. And I don't know, maybe if you just, like those people who speed read part 6 to get to 7 because they've heard 7's the best one, so they don't really give a shit about 6, they just speed read it. And then later they go online and they talk shit about 6 and they say it was stupid and boring and they didn't understand it. Well, my man, you speed read it. Maybe there's people like that who are just sort of like, la 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 la, JoJolian.
What would we have speed read it for? We didn't even know part 9 was coming.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe there are people who are engaging with it in a less thinky way, is what I mean. Maybe they're just like, oh, la la la, JoJo, I like the artwork, cool, JoJolian, whatever. Ooh, the head doctor, cool stand, I like it. It's like a stand, but he wears a bowler hat. It's possible that people who were thinking about it less deeply than us didn't have as big of a problem with the ending. Because, like, thinking about it as deeply as we did possibly was only setting us up for disappointment.
That's definitely a thing, because there is stuff that I enjoy that's maybe less popular, and it's just I don't think as deeply about the problems.
Yeah, And here's the thing, I think that it's not our fault that we thought so deeply about it and gave it so much consideration and did all this theory crafting. Because the story seemed to want us to really think and to really pay attention and put the pieces together. It was a goddamn mystery, for Christ's sakes. So the story seemed to be encouraging this way of interacting with it. Like, really sink your teeth in, do some theory crafting. What could be going on? The story seemed to encourage that and then just did not reward it in the slightest.
And there's really no other genre of storytelling that is as damaged as by asking the audience to think about what's going on and then not having anything,
not having the satisfying answers, not delivering on the mystery. The mystery genre is the most injured by this. Yes, I agree.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
I get you completely. Because, if it was just a pure, raw action story, I wouldn't really give a shit about the finer plot machinations. I would just hope cool stuff was happening. Well,
but enough about part 8 and
is subject to change.
Part 9 podcast.
Yes. All of that, all my feelings on the ending to part 8, it's all subject to change if we get more information in part 9. Even if we just get a little The Legend of Johnny Joestar flashback. Like, here's what happened to Josuke and Yasuo. I'll take that. I'll take it. But one way or the other, we gotta dive into this fucking chapter.
Yes.
Oh,
okay,
man.
So I want you to be honest with me, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
We're going on the honor system.
Oh my god.
When you first saw the protagonist stand,
yes,
what did you think it was called?
I have been on Twitter for the first promo and then the second promo where it's his face and his hair is gray and the collar on the jacket says November. So I saw that and everybody was like, dude, it's going to be November Rain by Guns N' Roses. And I was like, yeah, probably.
Oh,
so
I didn't even see that the collar said November.
Yeah, the collar says November. So because of that, people thought, oh, dude, it's going to be November Rain. So I can't take credit for guessing that and coming up with that myself. But I was on Team November Rain, and it did turn out to be true.
I was also on Team November Rain, but I didn't look at this guy's collar. I didn't analyze all the visual details of his design. I just saw the stand. I'm like, that's November Rain.
Hell yeah. November Rain is mentioned in one of my favorite John Mulaney jokes. You know, the one where he talks about playing What's New Pussycat over and over at the Salt and Pepper Diner, and everyone gets super annoyed and freaks out. You know that joke?
Wait, hold on. You said this was a John Mulaney joke?
John Mulaney, yes. It's called the Salt and Pepper Diner. He and his best friend John, when they were kids, they went to the diner, and the jukebox is 3 plays for $1. So they put in $7 and selected 21 plays of Tom Jones's "What's New Pussycat."
Yeah, I've definitely heard this.
You
joke.
know this.
I wasn't sure if it was John Mulaney because I thought it was another comedian, but
this is for sure
I've
John
definitely
Mulaney.
heard this joke.
Yeah, and so the whole point is that when he's describing what happens, and he's like, now, What's New Pussycat is kind of weird, because it sort of has like a dip, right? You know, where like you think it's done, but then there's more. Like November Rain by Guns N' Roses. Oh, hey, November Rain's over. No, it's not. There's more. So that's honestly my entire knowledge of November Rain. I've never heard the song. I just know it's mentioned in that John Mulaney bit.
Oh, it's a great song.
I mean, I like GNR. I'd probably like it. It's funny. I've never heard it. I only know it as one of those songs with a dip.
It's definitely one of their best.
All right. Well, we'll have to check it out. Hey, if it's good enough and we can find a good enough 8 seconds to use, we might have a new podcast theme. Who knows? A good enough 8 seconds of an 8-bit cover. We'll figure it out.
So that's your mandatory listening.
Yes, that's my homework.
Month.
Hey, so I've got to ask you something on the honor system. Now, look at this page, this first one, the one that says powers that have forms and shapes but are invisible. They are called stands. You have to be on the honor system for this one. Did you fucking
Got it.
recognize this little guy who's in front of D4C? Don't look it up. I want to know if you can tell me from memory who that
The
is.
one in front of D4C.
Yes. In front of D4C,
Is
behind the
that
world and echoes.
is that the devil?
It's Ebony Devil! You're right! Good job, man. I was watching a YouTuber that I like react to this chapter, and he was looking at all the stands, and he was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing here?"
That is a
Bro
that is a
thinks
hell
he's
of a
on the
pull, 'cause
team.
That is a hell of a pull, because like all these other ones are either protagonist or main antagonist stands. I mean, except for Sex Pistols up here, but everybody knows Sex Pistols.
And we got Black
But this
Sabbath
guy-
too, but Black Sabbath is allowed to be here just because his design fucking whips ass.
But this guy,
Yeah.
this guy here,
Bro thinks he's on the team. Who
Ebony
invited this
Devil is a
dude?
hell of a pull.
Who invited this dude? Anyway,
That's a deep cut.
that is a deep cut. Like, what
No pun
made you?
intended.
Yeah. But what made him decide? Okay, yeah, no, I've got all these great stands with these striking designs that people remember and are very
think
fond
it's-
of. Who needs to go right here?
think it
Oh,
might
I
be-
know. Ebony Devil.
I think it might be just because, like, of the humanoid stands, Ebony Devil has a really weird,
Yeah.
a really weird face,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he wanted some visual distinction in his in what he selected for this first page.
Well, it's definitely an interesting addition to the lineup. Interesting addition to the
the,
composition.
What's the stand in front of it, though? I can't tell
Oh,
what that is.
that's Echoes. That's one of the acts of Echoes.
Oh,
I think
that's
that's
Echoes
Echoes
Act 1.
Act 1, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I
This
see
doesn't
that
have
now,
wheels.
okay.
It's funny he chose to draw Act 1, but I guess, he's going for variety, right? So, Act 1 is sort of like the most different looking from your normal average humanoid stand with a face.
For sure. Yeah, you see, he drew Ball Breaker.
Yeah, I was
In the
gonna
back?
say. I was just about to go through and be like, all right, Soft and Wet, Star Platinum, White Snake, Tusk, Act 4, Gold Experience, Black Sabbath, Echoes, Ebony Devil, The World, D4C, Ball Breaker, with his cute little ears making an appearance, Stone Free, Killer Queen, and Sex
Now,
Pistols.
Ball Breaker, that's a deep cut, because that stand only showed up one time.
Yeah. And it's same as Ebony Devil, but... Or no, I mean, Ebony Devil was probably drawn more times.
But I believe Ebony Devil had like an entire like arc dedicated to it. Ball Breaker
Yes.
literally shows up in one panel.
Yeah, that is true. That's funny to think about. Like, oh my god, there was I forget where I could go find it now, but on Twitter, some account was telling, I haven't started this sentence right. Some sort of JoJo encyclopedia person posted this thing that was like, amount of screen time in the anime by character and by stand. So by character, Joseph Joestar wins. He has more screen time than anybody else. And of course, because he's in so many parts. And then
Makes sense.
by stand, the amount of stand screen time, obviously Jotaro. Star Platinum has the most screen time of any stand in
For
the
sure.
series.
For sure. Yeah.
But it was interesting to
Because he
see
shows
like
up
who
in-
fell where.
He shows up in
3
he shows
parts.
up in well 4 parts technically I think, but he doesn't use Star Platinum in part 5.
Yes, true. That's so funny. I always forget he's right there at the beginning of part 5. That's one of the coolest. Like, I know Araki doesn't really like to do this stuff, but can I get some more connective tissue? Like, what is Jotaro's life like between parts? Like, we just see him sitting in his office and he picks up a photo and he's like, yeah, I killed his father. Like, I want to know more about Jotaro's inner life and what he thinks about the events of the series. That's something I
Well,
think JoJo's
based
missing.
Based on part 5, I think it was mostly like looking for the arrows
Yeah, but
and
I mean, like...
neglecting his daughter.
Yeah, I guess so. That's funny, though. That's always like a superpowered parent's child who doesn't know about it type thing, where the child is like... it's fucking Ant-Man. It's fucking Ant-Man. The dad's gotta do superhero shit, but the daughter is like, Daddy, why are you never around? You know?
Have you been to see Quantum Mania yet?
Nah, man, I ain't even seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. But I guess it
Oh,
doesn't really
shit.
matter. Like,
I mean, I guess.
I don't know. Who gives a fuck? Honestly, like, I haven't really watched Marvel shit in a while.
I'm still making an effort to give a fuck because like Kang the Conqueror is really cool.
Yeah, that seems exciting. But here's the thing, man. They had been setting up Thanos, like, since the first movie. Not since Iron Man, but they'd been setting him up for a long time. And then it finally happened. We fought the big, big, big bad. And everyone loved it, and it was fucking crazy and exciting, and it was the biggest movie ever. And now, like, they're gonna have to go back to square one and build something else that will eventually one day be that exciting. You know, you can't really.
Well, I mean, they have to do that anyway because like now they have access to all the characters that they didn't have access to anymore
Yeah, yeah,
because
that's
of
true.
because of rights
Indeed.
issues.
Well, now that they have more money than God, they have enough money to buy God and take over heaven and turn it into a parking lot. I'm sure they can afford the rights to fucking whatever. Anyway,
Attack and dethrone God through capitalism.
dude, that's what Jodio's trying to do. He's just, he's a ruthless capitalist. Okay, we gotta start talking about this. I've been pulled out of Marvel for a while. I saw
So
Doctor Strange 2, and I saw Thor: Love and Thunder, and I was thoroughly disappointed with Thor. Doctor Strange was okay.
Have you been keeping up with any of the
The
any of the
shows?
Disney Plus
Nah,
shows?
I'm sorry.
They got some good stuff,
Maybe so.
but
Fuck it, let's get off of
yeah.
that. JoJo.
Anyway,
All right.
I love that Araki's new thing is telling you right away
Mm-hmm.
what the part is.
Yeah. It's like, because then it's not it's never quite as simple as what he says, but by saying up front, sort of like
But I
what
mean,
the
like,
with the mission
I
statement,
mean,
the thesis.
it's not all in this blurb, but like if you read the chapter, you get the high concept right away. It's this is going to be part 5 as a heist movie.
Hell yes. And this is also, he's got a very Dio-like arc and trajectory where he starts poor and through ruthless conniving and scheming and cunning, he's gonna climb the ladder and ascend. So yeah, we got a lot to think about here. We're jumping straight in. Boom. And this is the thing that when the okay, well I guess not this one. This is out of character narration. This may sound like bullshit, but this is the story of one boy becoming rich in the subtropical islands. This boy, Joe the Ojo Star. How do you feel about his name?
I gotta wonder if do you think they're gonna commit to that, like to the narration thing in the anime? I mean, I guess they would have to, right?
Well, because this right here, it refers to him as this boy. So this is an omniscient, disconnected narrator. This isn't him saying this. But then later,
But like, no, later we can tell that it's him.
yeah, he's narrating from a first-person perspective for a good chunk of the chapter. Yeah, when he starts talking about Barbara Ann, da-da-da. Yeah, so he's talking in the first person. So I forgot about the omniscient narration box at the front, but I was going to say, he's the one telling us what this story is about. So that's a possibly flawed summary. Like, that's what he thinks his story is about. But, you know, we're being told the thesis statement of the story from an in-universe perspective. Like, Johnny was like, this is the story of me learning to walk again. Yasuo was like, this is the story of breaking a curse. And he's like, this is the story of me on the come-up, chasing that bag, son.
How do you feel about like the the contemporary lingo that they use
You know
and
what?
the contemporary references?
It caught me so off guard, and it was just, I just got jump scared. I was like, Dua Lipa? COVID? What the fuck is happening? This is nuts. But I like it.
It doesn't feel like JoJo, does it?
It feels like a strange new form of JoJo that is uncomfortably real. I've never had.
Wait, why are they talking about like stuff I know, stuff that's happening now?
Yeah, I've never had a JoJo part that felt contemporary to the modern day. They've always been period pieces. Even when I started reading JoJolian, and it was in 2011, that's still a period piece to me, because that's like, it's set in 2011 because it's right after the Tohoku earthquakes. Da-di-da-di-da, you know. It's not so much beating you over the head with that it's modern. It's like, it's a couple years ago. You know, there's not too many present day references. But this just caught me right the fuck off guard. Dua Lipa and COVID, and we have okay, we got to talk about all of this. We got to talk about Jodio and Dragona in this opening cop confrontation, cop battle.
For sure.
All right, so
also highly topical.
yeah, you know what? This kid. Okay, well, let's get to it. ACAB, this child is amazing. He's really doing like. Okay, hang on. So we're in Hawaii. Cool. Honolulu police. They pull over the car. And this is like the moment where we see Jotaro in the jail cell. Like the cop is walking around the side of the car and we can't see who's in it yet. And then as he turns, we finally get there and the window rolls down. And then there's that first shot of Dragona and Jodio where they're sitting there where the cop says, "Good afternoon, would you mind turning off the music?" And for a split second there, they look so menacing. They look like villains. They're like, and because we don't know what the deal is with this part, you're like, oh, shit, okay, they're scary looking. Are these our heroes, or what's going on? And then, immediately, Araki does the Araki thing, which is like, I need to make sure you know this person is horrible, so I'm just gonna make them do something gross and terrible, so that you hate them, so that when I have my characters beat the shit out of them, it'll be fine.
It's the crucial like early establishing moment for the for like because you know in every part the JoJo's got like the first thing they use their stand against is a regular person who's just being a dick.
Yeah. This is almost like Giorno putting the frog on his chest and letting Leaky Iluka cave his own head in.
Also like Joseph using the Haman, also on cops.
Oh my god, yeah, that's an even better comparison. Shit, man, yeah. You blew that guy's finger off. I still think, like, I don't know if it ever went away or if I just stopped noticing it, but that sound design in early JoJo, everything hits like a truck. It's crazy. That's one of my favorite sound design moments ever, is when Joseph blows the lid off of the Coca-Cola and it flies in slow motion and twists and destroys the cop's finger. Go back and listen to the fucking sound effects on that. Whoever works at David Production and has that job, you're doing a fantastic job. Anyway, opening confrontation with the cops. It's cool because Dragona is in the driver's seat, and ostensibly our main character is just sort of like hanging out. She's a bystander to this. And then, you know, we get the ID. And then the Dua Lipa joke. And I love how at this point we still haven't seen his eyes. Like, we get him in the car and he's eating and he's far away. Oh, I guess we kind of see him. But then we get a couple of these panels where he looks like one of the fucking Canker sisters from Ed, Edd n Eddy. Like, his hair just covers his eyes.
I actually kind of dig the hair over the eye look for him.
Yeah. And I kind of, if you notice, there's a little line on his hair where it's like, it has like an extra eggshell. He kind of looks like fucking Chawed Blaze from Mega Man Battle Network. Let me look this guy up. Yeah. Check this shit out. Boom. Oh, hang on. Chris, I'm messaging you this image so you can see it as well as our audience.
Okay.
The hair reminds me of this guy.
Yeah, I see it.
I mean, he's got, like, the two-tone is a little different, but it's still, like, weird eggshell hair, but looks cool. I like it. Some anime shit, for sure.
Did you notice, because I assume you read this chapter multiple times, right?
Yes, I went back through it with a finer-toothed comb.
Did you notice on your second reading the foreshadowing of Dragona's stand ability?
Yes, where she's she's scratching on things. It seems just like a nervous tick at the beginning, and Araki's sort of misdirecting us because it's like, you know, somebody in an Araki story who has a nervous tick or a slightly weird thing they can't stop doing is, like, so dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, Araki will use that to signify somebody who is like shifty or unstable, that they have a constant nervous tick they can't stop. So it's sort of a misdirect, or at least that's how I felt. But then you realize when she scratches the license plate and the ID that this is actually like she's summoning her stand. She's like pointing, like rubbing at the area, like go down here, guys.
Geez, we gotta talk about this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
well, here's the thing. I want to say this up front. I will call this character whatever the story wants me to call them, but right now it seems unclear.
Well, I mean, which scans did you read? Did you read the Hiwa Matanoboru?
Indeed, the sun will rise tomorrow.
Did they have translation notes about Dragona's pronouns at all?
They did not, but I have been pretty entrenched in this Dragona gender discussion for the past couple days since this came out, and I think I know what you're about to say. She uses the feminine pronoun atashi for herself, but Jodio, when describing Jodio, when describing his big bro, Dragona, in the narration, refers to them as big bro and Onisan, like that. So, you know.
So John actually, John from the server, John SP2000.
Yeah.
He showed me this Wikipedia article, and said, like, maybe this might have been what
Mahu?
What Araki was going for. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about this as well. Weird secret third gender.
But yeah. So
I'm unsure of what the story wants me to consider. I'm gonna
use he him for Dragona until told otherwise, because like we see like the license has male on it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Jodio calls him Big Bro. Like current indications are that he's him.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is going to be a bigger deal, like if this is going to come up later and it's going to be more deeply explained, or if this is just sort of flavor for the character. And I'm not sure. And you could be on team girly man boy with titties, or you can be on team transgender individual. But I think I trust Araki to write this. Like, this is sort of like he's walking on eggshells a little bit. Like, he could definitely upset people. And it's not a great idea to open on 20 pages of your gender non-conforming character getting sexually assaulted by a cop. But it's okay, because Jodio fucking stomps on his head and blows up the car. So we know Araki's on the right team.
And, like, if it were any other manga, I would say, it's ambiguous. But, like, Araki literally goes into detail about, like, how about how his breasts are from cosmetic injections.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I saw somebody on Twitter that was like, no, they use their stand to do that, because they can move stuff around with their stand. They just relocated some fat on their body. And I was like, bro, did you read the chapter? This person is getting medical injections because they want to have titties. That's how they want to look. I don't know if they consider themselves male or female or how they want to be referred to.
Well, there's also the part that Jodio says he's never seen it done.
Yeah.
So
I think, and this is just a crazy idea from me, but here's my thing. I think that this character is dressed like that because that's how they want to look. That's how they like it. That's the appearance that they want to have. So I don't know how they want to be considered, but, doesn't really matter to me. I'm here for the new JoJo part. Gender politics are cool and whatnot, but I'm just here for some stand fights.
For sure. I just wanted to
Yeah, well, it's something interesting from this new chapter, so we had to talk about it somewhat.
This feels like after, because like in part 8, Araki wrote Tsurugi.
Yes.
A cross-dressing male, right? And he might have been like taking it up a step from that.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Here's how I feel, at least. Because remember, I was saying Tsurugi is some sort of commentary on, like, Araki was trying to do something or say something there, But I'm not sure what. Because the whole story, I was saying, Tsurugi has a choice. They can either, grow up and go back to dressing like a guy, or they can just be female if they wanted to. I don't know. Maybe they've been a little girl for so long, that's just how they're comfortable. So I always thought that at the end of the story, we would see Tsurugi grown up a little bit and see what their identity is as like a young adult. But because that never happened, I'm not sure what Araki was going for or what he was trying to say. Like, was it just, haha, it's funny to dress little boys like little girls? Like, let me just make his life miserable? I don't know. But Higashikata rock curse and all that.
What you want is the check-in in this part.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. And, you know, when we start talking about that Japanese tourist, we'll talk more about that. So, cop fight, Dragona, da-da-da-da-da, Dua Lipa, COVID. And this is such a, you know, like, JoJo-y. People in JoJo, when Araki wants the audience to side against them, he makes them really bad, really unappealing, you know? Like, I've always said the difference between the heroes and the villains in JoJo is, like, what they do when they're backed into a corner.
Zach,
like, the
what
villains...
you have to understand is...
Yeah.
What you have to understand is, in this scene, there wasn't a dog available.
There could have been. He could have drawn one. No.
But he decided not to.
You know what's so funny? It's like, how did Araki forget how to draw dogs? Go back and look at Danny from the Part 1 manga. He's drawn perfect. Like he's a fucking picture-perfect Doberman. Or a golden... not golden retriever, a greyhound.
It's like it's
and then look at Iwasuke! Look at Iwasuke!
It's equivalent exchange for his art style. He learned how to draw humans better, and in exchange, he draws dogs worse.
Maybe he traded dogs for horses so he could get Steel Ball Run done. I'm not sure. But I've always said, like, the psychology...
I don't know. Did he draw horses before? Before Part 7?
Yeah, he would have had to, because there were the zombie horses that Joseph raced on the chariot against Wamu.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There were definitely horses around. Anyway, the psychology of JoJo characters, especially, like, minor characters who end up antagonists, they have, like... Araki's really working hard to get us to hate them. And it's like, I've always said that the difference between a hero and a villain in the JoJo universe is like what they do when they're backed into a corner. Because a villain, when they're backed into a corner and they're in panic mode, fight or flight, they're on their last legs, their eyes will bug out and they'll scream and they'll be like, I'm gonna kill you! Whereas a hero backed into a corner will do their best to remain calm and resolute and push forward through the situation. They're not giving in to their worst instincts, not giving in to the feeling of hopelessness. So, this cop is he's just so evil in just a so JoJo-y way. You know, he's got no stand, but he has a position in society which he is abusing to get what he wants and to get shit done. And Araki's telling us how he feels about that when he gets the shit stomped out of him and he gets his car blown up.
I think it's really interesting that Araki...
That's a mechanism, by the way.
I think it's really interesting that Araki kind of just drew Ringo Road again.
I didn't even notice that. That's so funny. He doesn't have the little soul patch.
He's missing the skull patch.
Yeah, but he's got the Ringo stash. He's got the weird Fu Manchu. That's crazy. But
and we talk a lot about how Araki has a same face problem. So it's like, you know, you get that one distinguishing trait, and then all of a sudden, it's like, you just drew Ringo Road again.
You drew Ringo Road again.
Again.
I'm going to start calling Rainbow Road Ringo Road in Mario Kart.
Nice.
For no real reason. But I will say this, I don't think the Araki same face problem is quite as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, it's definitely there. It's definitely a thing. But I want you to look at Dragona for a minute. And I want you to really... tell me honestly that she is just Yasuo again. Because I don't think you can. Like, the way Yasuo's eyes were drawn, like, I look at Dragona, and I don't see an equivalent, exactly the same looking female character as all the others. You know, the differences are small, but they're there. Well, not that small. Yasuo's eyes were different. Anyway.
Yeah, no,
He does sort of need to...
I'm looking back through, because, like, he draws... Because, like, there's a lot of different looking panels with her.
Yeah. But I don't know, he kind of does need to rely on facial hair and accessories to differentiate his male characters sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, blah-de-da-de-da. Please wait right there. Scratching. Dua Lipa. COVID. Gonna perform a pat down.
Then Jodio steps out out of the car. He says, "Hey, man, what you doing?"
The cop reaches into the underwear of this individual and he finds something unexpected and he's extremely horny. So
It's
Jodio,
like, I can work with this.
I can work with this. Jodio is like, okay, this is completely unacceptable. It's time to go beast mode and just fuck these dudes up. And I love how we don't really get a clear shot of his face. We don't get a close-up on him until the moment where he steps out and we get that page where he's looking through the car and he says, hey, what the hell are you doing? That's fucking sick. And then he's just slowly, menacingly walking over there. Get your hands off of Big Bro right now. You got me? Right now. Or you're dead meat. It's so cool. I love him. I don't know. Is it too obvious that he's sort of like evoking Giorno in this moment? Is that?
Oh well, I mean, like, if that weren't obvious enough, like, take a look at his outfit.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just noticed he's wearing fucking fingerless gloves. He's so cool. Also, his hoodie like attaches to his pants and then it like straps over the shirt he's wearing.
This might be my new favorite visual design for a JoJo.
I really, really like it. And it's sort of like, it reminds me of Jobin's outfit. The way that it's like a weird hoodie up top. I enjoy it a lot. This is a great character design. Anyway, so let's skip ahead a little bit. They're giving him all these don't moves, stop right there's, put your hands on your heads. And then the raindrops hit, and then he just keeps slowly walking forward.
Smashes this dude.
And then we get this visual of November Rain, which is fucking awesome looking. And this is like, it looks like a fucking beefed up fun. It looks like fun, hit the gym.
That's what I was thinking also. Like,
it's like fun, hit the gym and got a new outfit.
I saw the stand power and I thought, this is November Rain. And then I saw the stand and I'm like, that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the first time that we've had a protagonist stand that looks so fucking weird. Like, it doesn't have any ability to punch stuff.
You remember Tusk?
Tusk Act 1,
like
yes.
this at first. Yeah.
But by the end of the story, it's evolved into sort of a standard, normal, punching man stand, like everyone else's.
Wide. It's wide.
Although, it's weird. Boy. He's actually just got huge shoulders. If you were to take off all of those little, the little hanging circle things.
You know what it's evoking? It's evoking like the poncho from like Clint Eastwood movies.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a really great observation. I have never thought of that before. It kind of is. He's got the long, flowing... It's like he's wearing a poncho. Huh. Anyway, the reveal of November Rain. I really like this thing. And before we move on... Or actually, no, I'll talk about it when mechanisms start being talked about. Mechanisms. Oh, and then this was so fucking cool... Where Dragona, instead of being a helpless bystander who's just getting sexually assaulted by a cop, she realizes that the tables are turning and that the cop's not paying attention to her anymore, and she just slides his eyeballs off his face.
So this moment that Dragona uses his stand on the cop.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like, did you ever see the it wasn't like it was like a test scene from Blood Sun Vendetta, Chapter 0 or whatever.
Yeah, no.
The girl in that fan-made JoJo part using her stand to do like something very similar, and her stand was called Blur.
Ah, I do remember this. Hey, where's Blood Sun Vendetta at now? Is it still going? Has it got more episodes?
I don't think it has another episode yet.
The last one I saw was it ended with I said shut the fuck up. Like there was about to be a cool fight going down in that Mexican town, and then it didn't happen yet.
A cool fight going down in the Mexican town.
Oh yeah. Anyways, it's all going down in Chinatown.
But while we're on the topic of Dragona's stand,
yes.
Does it strike you as odd that like we've seen so many different uses for Dragona's stand, and yet Jodio's stand doesn't actually seem that versatile for a protagonist stand?
It does strike me as unusual that is the case, but I think that because we sort of have this brother and sister team who are our protagonists this time around, I think that's honestly a perfectly fine and kind of smart and cool way to do it. You have one of their powers that is more like for utility and for solving minor problems, and then the other one's power is like explicitly for combat. And it can fuck people up. So we have one smart situational power, and then we have one just get fucked, I'm strong type of power. And if we're going to have the brother and sister duo be together for the whole story, I think that's great. I think that's pretty cool. Because we've always had a problem with, like, Stans being able to do things that maybe they shouldn't do, or, like, Araki changed what Soft and Wet's power was, or at least redefined it and then never went back and brought the original power back. So you could fix that problem by having multiple powers be spread across different stand users. That way it's not so weird and unrealistic when one guy can suddenly, like, wait, why can he do that? So I dig this. I think it's cool. It is strange that our protagonist stand seems so limited and straightforward.
It's not totally unprecedented. When Araki first introduced stands, Star Platinum was by far the most rigid in its use on the protagonist team.
Best for combat, very straightforward. Kakyoin, shit at combat, but useful situationally for other things all the time.
But it's just like, since then, the protagonist stand has always had a wide variety of uses.
Yeah. It does seem remarkably straightforward and not complicated for a protagonist stand. Like, this is the exact inverse of when we were introduced to Josuke and Soft and Wet, right? Because in chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of JOJOLian, we're like, Josuke, what the fuck does your stand do? It can take anything? Like, it seems nuts, and we're trying to wrap our minds around it.
It's basically,
in this is the complete opposite. Oh, cool. Rain that crushes people? Got it. Done. Easy.
It's like a rain-based Act 3.
Yeah. The raindrops are like ungodly heavy. You see how they're pressing into the man? They're creating huge indentions.
And that is like in part 8 when the rain was a calamity.
Yeah, exactly. That reminds me, that's one of my other favorite panels in all of part 8. It's when Josuke is in the back of the police car with Mamazuku, and he gives him a little speech, like, reaffirming his character and what he believes in and what his mission is, and then he leaps out of the thing and just gets blasted by raindrops. One of them goes through his head and looks like he's dead.
Which actually also, in turn, was, you remember, I think it was Blackmore?
Yeah, Catch the Rainbow.
Yeah, that was the whole premise of his stand, was he could lock the raindrops in place, and like if you ran into them, they would just cut through you.
Yeah, and you know what else? If they hadn't used November Rain for this stand's name, and they hadn't used it earlier, they could have called it Heavy Weather. Because that is some heavy weather.
Yep. It seems like Araki's really like, he has like this new favorite type of power. And that's like rain-based damage.
Well, I think that the way he comes up with stands and comes up with everything in his stories is the same as it's always been, where he's sort of
he does a lot of recycling of his old ideas.
He does a lot of recycling, but he also does a lot of research, and I think this is the thing that really makes it. He does a lot of observation. If you ever read an interview with him and they ask him, how do you come up with your ideas? He'll say, like, I just look at the world around me. Like, I'll be out in public and I'll see something and I'll be like, wow, that's interesting. I wonder, what if it was, like, different? What if it was extra crazy? So, just walking around one day and the idea must have struck him. God, it sucks when it's raining outside. What if the rain could hurt? What if the rain could fucking kill you? This is awesome. I gotta get home and write this now.
You know what? It can. It's called a hurricane.
Yeah, hey, we know about that here in America. I don't. I live in the desert, but yeah, what if rain could kick your ass? So, speaking of kicking ass, he drops the rain, he puts the heavy weather on this guy, and then just jumps right on his face and starts curb stomping him out. Dragona, the more sane one of the two, is like, hey, you were stomping police officers out in the middle of the street. We gotta go. And then before she can even like finish correcting him, she's like, "Damn it, I can't believe you did this. You can't be doing this. You beat them half to death." He has already walked away to go set the car on fire. Like he's not even listening. This kid,
this man is a professional.
dude, ACAB as hell. Like it doesn't matter what they were, or it doesn't matter. They had families. They're cops. They don't deserve our compassion, Dragona. Let's get in the car and leave. You think I'm gonna cry over a couple pigs?
Yeah, but he also explains why he's burning the cop car.
Right.
So
But
it's
I mean,
like there's a logic to the madness.
Right, and part of the logic is that he doesn't consider cops or their belongings important to not destroy. You know, you remember that line in Reservoir Dogs? Have you seen Reservoir Dogs?
I have not seen Reservoir Dogs yet.
Oh, Steve Buscemi.
I should watch Reservoir Dogs.
Really very good. It's like a one-act play. It's fantastic. Steve Buscemi's character is talking to Harvey Keitel's character, Mr. Pink and Mr. White, and he's like, "Oh, Jesus, it was crazy back there. Did you kill anybody?" And Steve Buscemi says, "A couple cops." And Mr. White, Harvey Keitel says, "No real people?" And Mr. Pink says, "No, just cops." Based. So fucking based.
Fuck the police, Quentin Tarantino.
Exactly. No real people? No, of course no real people, just cops. Anyway, so ACAB as hell, light the shit on fire. And then Dragona's mood just turns around instantly. It's so cute. She's like, "We always make sure to never leave any evidence." And then we see the smooth operators. Very cool. Why do they all have the number 6 on their head? For a moment, I thought that they were going to be numbered, like Sex Pistols.
Oh, yeah, it is kind of like...
well, it's like a very
6.
chunky digital typewriter-y 6.
Is it a 6 or is it a G? It could be a G.
I don't know why it would have that line going up and down through it if it was a G. But the point is, I thought they were going to be numbered like Sex Pistols, but it doesn't seem like it. They all have the same marking.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a 6. I don't know.
Oh hey, so in the license plate,
it could be that it could be that like, and this is the other thing that that makes me think that this is his part 5 as a heist movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is Smooth Operators is Sex Pistols, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely a colony stand.
We haven't seen any personality to it though, but
yeah, I was about to say they don't talk or eat salami, but there's hope they might eat some salami.
He's made it just a little bit different.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, this is a very long and detailed story with a lot of stands. So like, every once in a while, he can reuse a concept. He can bring something back in a new way. I'm fine with that. I don't really care that he named the stand in part 8 Blue Hawaii, even though he already named a boat that in the previous part. Not a huge deal. I mean, this guy's good at what he does. He's always coming up with goofy shit, and he's drawing amazing art for it. And so, you know...
Honestly, I think, you know... Because we've established that pop culture does exist in the JoJo universe, so it's possible that some people are naming their stands after musicians,
right,
or like musical acts.
I want to bring up something though.
It's conceivable that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you like that. I was just looking at the page and something struck me. When she has the license plate, not the license plate, the driver's license, she scratches off her picture, but underneath it is a different woman. I thought the reason the cop reacted like that to the license was because the license said male and the appearance was female, and then he found the dong. He located the schwang, and he was confused. But this is definitely a lady's license, so I don't know.
Maybe he scratched off the FE.
Good point. If he can manipulate the photo, he can manipulate other things. Anyway, cars exploded. Let's get the hell out of here. Yeah, I didn't realize this. There's a small panel of Jodio dragging one of the cops' bodies. And then when we go away, they're just both
He's dragging
on the
it
sidewalk.
out of the way of the car. Yeah.
Yeah. Although they left their guns there. I don't know why you wouldn't want a gun. Anyway, They get to their little meetup. And this is crazy because he's the fucking anti-Giorno. Giorno is like, hey, is that a fucking weed? I'm not going to have any of that in my city. And Jodio is like, hi, I'm 15. You want to buy some cocaine? Like, what? It's insane.
Like I said, just a little bit different.
I know, it's definitely interesting. It's an old twist on a new classic. Nope, other way around. It's a new twist on an old classic. So they get there, they open up the surfboard, they give them all these kilos of coke, and then there's a gun here, like a really drawn, like rifle-y gun. And it just, with that little panel of just the gun, I just want to point out how masterful Araki is at doing little panels like that for anticipation, but also like, as your eyes flit from panel to panel, you almost feel as though you are standing where Jodio and Dragona are, and your eyes are flitting around the room, taking in the scene, the different bits of information everywhere you look. You know, there's a guy staring back at us, waiting for us to not move. There's the gun. There's the men unloading the surfboard. There's the guy in the cowboy hat. There's just a shitty junkyard everywhere. I don't know. I really like the panel layout, and the way it goes from them standing there silently to the guy's eyes, to them, to the gun, is like, you can feel a little sense of danger, but then they get that thumbs up and that nod from my man with the sideways braids. And then cowboy hat guy comes over, gives them some money. You want to place bets on whether we're going to see these characters again? Cowboy hat guy has a cool scar on his chin. Or maybe it's going up his whole face. I can't tell. Cowboy hat guy has a really cool scar and a sweet tattoo on his arm. So I feel like we might see him again. Just because Araki seems to have put work into designing him. But then again, his clothes aren't very extravagant.
I don't think they have weird enough sense and fashion to, to show them again.
Yeah. Yeah, this was another crazy present day reference. What do we do for a ride home? Let's walk for a bit, then call an Uber once we get to a major road. Araki's really taking advantage of
I never thought I'd see somebody say call for an Uber.
No way.
In JoJo.
And it's crazy. This reminds me of one of my favorite rap groups from the 90s, A Tribe Called Quest. They came back in 2016 with a new album, but one of their guys died while they were making it. So they had his verses that he recorded. And instead of the big comeback after which we will start making new music again, it was, this is the final album. This was in memory of our friend. So they had been rapping in the 90s, and when they came back in the 2016 album, it was insane to hear them rap about things that were invented after the 90s. You know what I mean? No, actually, exactly. The Ubers. Jerobi says, surge pricing on these Ubers. I'm gonna get me a cab. And I'm like, what? Fucking, they're rapping about, like, Ubers and having an iPhone? Like, these guys are 90s. This shouldn't be happening. It was a weird dissonance. But it's almost exactly like what I'm feeling for this.
What's the over-under on A Tribe Called Quest being a stand in this part?
Oh, God. I mean, well, there's a bunch of Tribe Called Quest songs that would be pretty good stand names. You know, Electric Relaxation. The Jazz. I don't know. The Jazz is a little too broad. But yeah, I don't know. I really love A Tribe Called Quest. I would love a stand named after them or any one of their songs. But hey, now we're here and we're leaving the junkyard. The drug deal is complete. And now we're getting this little bit of Barbara Ann backstory. So, let me ask you, how angry were you? Because I was a little upset. As soon as I saw him, wait, excuse me, Barbara Ann Joestar? What the fuck is this? I immediately went back to the family tree chapter in JoJoLand, and I looked at the family tree, and I was like, okay, that's bullshit, but I believe it. They literally went out of their way to say Joseph and Susie Q had one daughter, Holly.
I didn't go back to the family tree, but I believe you.
I mean, it was in, not only I went back to the family tree where he and Daya are upstairs, like in early JoJoLand, but then in the very last chapter where they're talking about
No, but you're forgetting.
Josephumi.
You're forgetting. Is she? Their last name is. Hold on. Did they show a family tree? I thought they showed a family tree.
They did. It's it's right here.
Barbara Ann
Joestar.
Barbara Ann Joestar.
Yeah.
That's weird, because like, you know, if it had been a son, they could get away with it.
Right. No, that is weird. Why did she keep her maiden name? I don't know. Maybe for the same reason the man that she had these kids with is simply referred to as father. He doesn't get a name. But, you know, the fucking 1 chapter ago, at the end of the Radio Gaga incident, literally 1 chapter ago in JoJo, we were told Joseph and Susie had 1 daughter, Holly. Araki, 1 chapter later. So that was a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Barbara Ann, you know what she immediately strikes me as? Tomoko Higashikata. That's immediately who I think of. She's like a woman who is, you know, involved with the Joestars, but, you know, her husband left her and she's raising these kids on her own. The only difference is she didn't marry into the family. She's the daughter of Joseph and Susie. I almost said the daughter of Joseph and Holly. How fucked up would that be, am I right?
Yeah, that'd be pretty fucked up.
That kid would come out like, kill me. I'm too powerful. There's too much Joestar blood in me.
This chapter written by George R.R. Martin.
Oh,
It's another thing he's added to his slate instead of working on the new Game of Thrones book.
Dude, I don't even like Game of Thrones, but like, how do you live your life like that? Like, you're known for one thing, and everyone is clamoring for years and years. Give us that last book. And he's like, I think I'm gonna go write the story for Elden Ring now. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know. Anyway, the Barbara Ann Joestar daily routine. This actually reminds me of Kira's daily routine because it's so detailed. Gets up at 7:15 in the morning and starts her day by running the washing machine. Then she gets dressed in the bathroom. Then for breakfast, she prepares toast, fruit, ham, and eggs, either boiled for 7 minutes or fried, and fried broccoli. Then a good morning kiss to her family, and one more. Then she can cast her bus that leaves at 8:06 for a job at the duty-free shop at the airport. She hangs the laundry out to dry, then she leaves the house. Neighborhood boy shows up out of nowhere, offering to carry a bag. On days when it's raining, someone else comes holding an umbrella. They have a pleasant chat together, and that's because everybody loves our mom. And Dragona gets up, always goes for a jog up to the coast when he gets up every morning. Anyway, this reminds me of Kira's routine, but not menacing.
What's the over-under on this woman surviving the part?
Oh, God. Well, Jodio is such a cocky little bastard. I know something's going to break this kid at some point. He can't go like this through the whole part. Something's going to happen to him that's going to break him, and he's going to have to pick himself back up and rebuild and find a way to move forward. So I'm guessing either Dragona or Barbara Ann is going to die before the end of the part. But it could be something as dark as like a whole team wipe. You know, at the end of this chapter where he's like, it didn't matter how many stand users we would have brought. It wouldn't have been enough. Like, what if they go there and just everybody but him dies? You know, the wild out there possibilities, but hey.
In part 5 is like a half team wipe.
Yeah. But they die one by one, and they each get like a dramatic, heartfelt death scene. I'm talking about a party wipe. Like, boom, everyone's just gone. No emotional closure. I've seen stories do that before, and it's a total fucking gut punch. But I just know, like, this kid is way too full of himself. He's way too built himself up in his own head. So something's going to need to take him down a peg. Something's need to break him and forge him into a stronger shape.
I don't know. Currently, from what we've seen of the crew so far, I think he might be a little bit more conservative with the deaths this part.
Maybe.
He doesn't have a lot to work with.
Not yet. But yeah. So I really like that this like, we are criminals, and so everyone respects our mom because, like, we're in the game, and just the people on the street just know. It reminds me a lot of when Giorno saved that gangster by pointing the wrong way when he was a child, and then suddenly after that, everyone was nice to him when they saw him walking down the street. It reminds me of that the concept of, like, the mob being a good thing, potentially, in Part 5. Cool.
Yeah, that's another
little Giorno connection.
That's another element that's why I look at this chapter. I think, yeah, he's just doing part 5 again.
Yeah.
But as a heist movie.
Well, hey, we did parts 1 and 2 again with part 7, and then we did parts 3 and 4 again with part 8. So it was kind of expected that we would be touching on some part 5 stuff and recycling some of those themes. But it was so expected, Chris. It was so expected that I didn't expect it. It was it seemed like the thing to do.
There was also a little bit of part 3 and part 7.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. I mean, it's not so
You know,
clean
you
as...
know what I'm expecting? I'm expecting the job to go wrong and they end up in prison.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That
And
would
they
be
gotta break
so
out of
fucking
prison.
funny. Oh, but I wanted to focus on something else for a moment here. Have you noticed that we are the baddies? Say the line, Chris. Hans, are we the baddies? Have you noticed that we are the villains in this story so far?
Yeah, just a little bit.
By regular JoJo logic, like, somebody who uses their stand, or not even just your stand, but the whatever you have in life, whatever position that you have, or whatever power or ability or anything, you use your position in life for the good of others and to protect the weak. That's what makes a hero under JoJo logic. The evil people would use their power or ability for their own personal gain and to just step on others' heads and to rise higher by pushing them down. So even if it's for altruistic reasons, because we love our mom and we want to protect her, these are people who are using their stands on civilians with no stands just to make money and to have an easier life. That's kind of villain shit. That's kind of antagonist behavior.
Even Giorno, who wanted to join the... He joined the mob so that he could become the top dog, but the reason he wanted to do that was to eliminate the drug trade. Mm-hmm. So he still had good underlying goals.
Right. Oh, I see the parallel you're drawing.
These guys, he's literally saying, I'm going to become filthy rich.
He's also saying, we love our mom. In other words, my big brother and I ensure mother's social safety from behind the scenes. So there is, I feel like you were drawing a perfect parallel there, where it's like, bad things done for quote-unquote the right reasons. You know, for the good of the family. That's also a very Italian mafia idea. Anyway, I want to learn more about Barbara Ann. Like, we got some narration about her, but we were not told or shown anything yet. I mean, sorry, no, that's not true.
She has a very normal look.
Yeah, we were just told and shown, but I'd like to hear from her. I wonder what she's like. I'd like to hear some Barbara Ann dialogue. She reminds me of Tomoko Higashikata from Part 4. Or maybe Mitsuba a little bit.
True. There's a little bit of that. Especially Mitsuba when she first appeared.
Yeah, early Mitsuba.
She had a more normal appearance.
Yeah, with the checkered design. Checkered skirt. Anyway, cool drawing of Dragona. Da-da-da-da-da. He loves girl-like fashion and works at a boutique in Kalihi called Iko Iko. Okay, so our parents came here to Honolulu, Hawaii, from Atlantic City on the mainland. Atlantic City in Jersey is where Joseph ended up living with Susie Q and working at the Speedwagon Foundation. So, I don't know what happened with young Barbara Ann Joestar and the man that she married, but I don't think that man's Hawaiian, you know what I mean? Our parents came here to Honolulu from Atlantic City on the mainland, so both of them came together. Because a bunch of stuff went on with our mother and father. Our mother's been raising us alone. Joestar is my mother's last name.
That's why she's using her maiden name.
Right.
They're probably divorced.
That guy is out of the picture. He's honestly, I really don't think we're going to get any more information about that guy. I think it's just going to be a Sadao Kujo situation. Where it doesn't matter. Like, he's just a penis that allowed this character to be born, and he has no relevance other than that. It's just a floating cock.
Your role in the story is penis.
Your role in this story is to knock up Barbara Ann Joestar and then get lost. Anyway, this is fucking crazy. He's like, I'm 15 years old. Today I'm going to school, but I'm not going to school to learn. What am I doing, you ask? I'm selling coke.
You know who else was 15 years old?
You know who else was 15 years old? My mom. Giorno, yes, of course. And, this is, honestly, I understand this completely. This hot dog man, this disgusting hot dog man with the stupid outfit who looks like fucking Tingle.
So you know what his face looks like, though? He looks like Dio.
I kind of get it with the eyebrows.
Hairstyle.
The eyebrows.
Look at the hairstyle as well.
Yeah, although honestly, the hairstyle makes me think Fugo. Fugo had those 3 shards coming forward with the hair.
Could be, yeah.
Either way, this moment right here where Jodio is like dealing with Hot Dog Man, asking him really blatantly, "Hey, can I buy some drugs from you now, please?" And he like attacks him for plausible deniability, but then still sells to him later. I'm in sort of like the underground illicit activities world myself, not to give too much away, but that is true to life. If you walk up to somebody and you ask for something like that, they're gonna be like, A, shut the fuck up, and B, now no, because you asked loud in front of everybody.
Hello, good sir. I would like to purchase a weed from you.
Right, that is not at all how you do it. So Hot Dog Man's a fucking idiot, and I totally agree with Jodio's reaction. He attacks him in front of everybody for plausible deniability, but then still does it behind the scenes later. I think that's funny. Anyway. And then there's like a network of people where he's like, I'm just going to take your money and then you walk away, but just walk that way. And then somebody shows up and tells him, hey, the rain gutter. And that's our introduction to Paco. So we've already got, we've got...
No, that guy's not Paco.
Yeah, it is. The guy on the scooter.
No, hang on. Oh, there, that Paco. Okay, I was looking at the wrong page, yeah.
Paco Lovlantes. We haven't gotten Hot Dog Man's name yet, but... Oh my god, look at Hot Dog Man's shoulder. He has the lower half of a person wearing underwear and like stockings and garters and shoes.
Oh yeah. There's a little
Weird.
tattoo there.
Yeah, I didn't notice that before. Anyways, he gets the drugs from the rain gutter. We meet this giant, scary woman.
Absolutely massive woman.
Dude, she gives me Promised Neverland vibes. We're like just this big fucking scary lady who's way bigger than us.
Absolutely towering over everybody.
It's crazy. And these are high school students, I remember in high school, some of the kids were pretty tall, some of the kids were pretty short, but like this is right about when you're starting to be almost full grown. Like your heights are starting to equalize with the people around you. And yet still, she is enormous. All right, next page. Mechanisms.
Talk about mechanisms.
Yes, I wanted to say earlier that cop was using his own mechanism. The mechanism by which he is allowed to go around and molest people and steal their money, aka being a cop and doing pat-downs. But like the mechanism for him is that his station in society allows him to act in such a way with no repercussions. So that in itself is a mechanism. It has power, but it's invisible to the eyes. The concept of the police, that's a mechanism. So yeah, he's a gopher, like Jobin was. It's interesting that they use the word gopher, same thing that Jobin called himself.
Look at little baby Jodio here.
Little baby Jodio, because his face is covered up, he looks like baby Jobin. Like, look at the fucking jacket. Anyway, I know Jobin's never coming back, so now I'm just gonna have to live vicariously through Jodio. Also, what a dumb name. Jodio? You kidding me? You made a new Giorno and you just called him Dio, but with a Joe on the front?
I believe I said as much, yeah. To John.
I almost don't want to, like... I'm trying to figure out, like, how should I say it so it doesn't sound dumb? Like, should I say Jodio?
That was like the one aspect of like of this part that I knew before I read the chapter.
Yeah.
Was that the guy's name was Jodio, and I'm like, when John told me that, I'm like, no, you're full of shit.
You're fucking with me. Horse shit. Yeah, no, not horse shit. That's bullshit, but I believe it.
No, that was bullshit that I didn't believe.
Indeed. I like how at the very beginning of this chapter... Oh no, it's not at the very beginning. Oh no, it is. It says, it may seem like bullshit, but... Anyway, so he's a gopher. Mechanisms of trust have power. Even if we don't obey the power called law, in this town, trust keeps one safe. So I'm saying there's a counter mechanism of the law and the legal world and the police. And that mechanism is not working for Jodio. That's not working in his favor. So he has no qualms about fucking with it and blowing up their cars.
Look at this fucking loser.
Dude, these are some of the funniest panels I've ever seen in all of JoJo.
Walk.
Dude, he's literally... he's doing the virgin walk. What's the difference between me and that person walking over there? He's physically larger than me, and he looks pretty smart. He looks like somebody who gets plenty of allowance from their parents, but he ends up like that. Meanwhile, I'm like this. and sometimes more like this. This is so fucking funny. I love these two panels so much. This kid is the most 15-year-old kid I've ever seen.
I already love Jodio.
Me too. And like he's wearing like chains and bracelets in that one. And then I don't know if you noticed, there's ladies around him, but he's holding a glass of champagne and someone's pouring it for him. He's big pimpin'. He's already big pimpin'. He's 15 years old. It's chapter 1. I've known this kid for all of 30 pages, and he's already big pimpin'.
It took Giorno an entire part to get to where Jodio is in the first chapter.
It took Giorno a whole part to become like a high roller, a G, to start big pimpin'. And Jodio, he's already big pimpin' the first time we see him. Fucking incredible stuff. Man. That panel's sometimes more like this. Do you know anything about competitive Smash? Because he's doing the Chudat pose.
I don't know anything about competitive Smash.
Super annoying, super legendary player called Chudat, Chudat, Chudat. He will always, when he beats you, he will look up into the camera, the player cam, where it's recording the two of you, and he'll hit that pose. He puts the thumb and the forefinger on his chin, and he smiles, and he does a big nod. It's called the Chudat pose. And so, there it is. The Chudat pose is now in the fucking game. In the fucking JoJo. It's in the manga. I saw it and I was like, no way, he's hitting the Chudat! Alright. I love those panels so much. Let us continue.
But also this loser is like this.
Yeah. There's not much difference between him and me, but nobody helps carry his mom's shopping bag. Nor is there a kid who has a fun chat with his mom on the street. He feels insecurity and anxiety when he gets on the bus every morning. He'll probably stop coming to this school before too long. What am I getting at, you might ask? This is the story of me becoming filthy rich. Sound like I'm exaggerating? Do I sound immodest and conceited to you? Becoming filthy rich means being able to earn lots of money, but there's something far more important than that. Yep, mechanisms. I love the way he talks. It's so good. Anyway, it's a general principle of this world that they bring you wealth. That's true if you are within a mechanism and the mechanism is working for you. Maybe not wealth, but definitely things worth value, I would say. I prefer the word mechanism over system. I don't get that. Don't know why. This is the story of one boy becoming filthy rich in the subtropical islands. Still not enough modesty for you?
Talking. On this page, he just be talking.
I know, he's got
I prefer
interesting
the word
ideas.
Mechanism over system because it's similar to an ecosystem. What does that even mean, man?
The pinnacle of mechanisms. That's something I can't see yet. Yeah, I don't know. This is a story of one boy becoming filthy rich. I'm becoming rich no matter what it takes. And then, weird transition to just describing Paco. So...
Oh, do you mean like no transition?
Absolutely none, yes. Paco Lovelantes. Till 2 years ago, he was pretty chubby. Didn't that happen to somebody else in JoJo? Valentine.
Yeah.
No parallel to draw. Nothing more smart than that to say. I was just remembering somebody else
Valentine was fat, and then he was fit.
Yeah, he was fat, and then he got ripped. But now he's like this, chiseled like a rock. There's one in the schoolyard with the electric scooter. But we are not friends. Weird. Oh, this is funny. Paco Lovelantes, age 19, is still in high school. I don't know what he was doing for a year, but I don't think it was something like studying abroad.
This must be our Abacchio.
That's probably a good guess. Sort of a cold, distant character. Doesn't really like our main guy, doesn't really trust him, but we're gonna have to get along and work together in the end. We're gonna have to win his trust and admiration.
Part 5, you see behind Jodio here in this last panel on this page. Look at that sweater. That's Fugo's sweater.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was reading them as polka dots rather than like as holes. But no, yeah. You know what there should be? There should be both an in-universe store. Wait, there already is. The SBR hat shop. I was gonna say there should be an in-universe store that just sells all of these ridiculous outfits. Like, oh, that's where these characters got their goofy clothes.
Well, Eco sells that stuff.
Yeah. But then also there should be an in real life JoJo fashion boutique store that you can go to and you can just walk in dressed normal and walk out dressed crazy. Anyway, we're talking about Paco and his fucking wallet. I like how his narration is like, oh, look there, the muscles. They bulge like that and grab things. He'll probably do it again a bunch of more times, so I'll go over it again next time. Like it's like that he's really explaining something to us. Oh my god, I just realized he has the Cool Shock BT arrows on his arm, leading up his arm.
And Paco's stand like seems more like more in line with you know how like in some parts they have stands that seem more like techniques, like Wu Tomaki could like split his
Yes.
body into stuff, and like I was hoping that would be a technique, but no,
Yeah.
it's just his stand.
I remember you and I were talking about that.
This
Because it would have been
this
cool
feels
if
like
rock
it would have
humans
been a-
could, you know, disassemble themselves and move in pieces, but like he was the only one who bothered to train that ability and get crazy good at it. But no, he's just special. He's the only one that can do that. Kind of
This
boring.
feels like it would have been like a Haman technique.
Yeah, no, because or spin even, really, because it's the manipulation of the muscles in ways they wouldn't normally be able to do. But, I feel like this is maybe an extremely boring power, because, if your stand has hands, it can already pick up things and grab them for you without you physically needing to move your hands and make it look like you're going to grab it. So, much like the Wu Tomaki thing, I feel like this didn't need to be a stand ability, but I will subject to change my opinion if we see it used cooler later.
It makes me think of like a worse version of Diver Down.
Yeah. I don't know.
Except with more like active movement, and he can't put it in anything else.
Also, I really like that while we're here in the boutique, Dragona is wearing a different outfit. I really hope that because Dragona likes fashion, they're just going to be constantly changing outfits and they'll never have one that they're locked down to. I feel like Jodio can stay in that outfit for the rest of the story. That's a banger design. I want him to stay in that outfit. But if Dragona keeps getting new ones, I'd be happy about that. That'd be cool.
And here's more Smooth Operator.
Yeah, no, she's really... I love how the classic, like, grabbing somebody by their ear. What are you doing, young man? Haraki takes that classic and then does goofy stand shit with it, gives him a rubber ear.
It's like in the... Remember in Part 8, the flash forward with Joshu detaching his tongue?
Yes, with Nut King Call. Man. The flash forward. Wait, you can't say those words to me, Chris. I understand
I'm sorry.
that we're just trying to talk and compare notes and be friends.
I forgot that those words do damage.
They do 300 points of psychic damage directly to my life points, bro. You take me out of the present moment and put me back in the disappointment of JoJoLand, which is not where I want to be. Alright, so look how fucking huge this lady is. She's like a titan.
Yeah, she walks in, towers over everybody.
Dude, she's almost hitting the fucking
down.
security cameras on the ceiling.
She's slightly bending over even.
Dude, you remember when we did the JoJo basketball thing? The March Madness, the draft?
Yeah.
I should have picked her. She wouldn't even have to jump. She could just dunk standing up. She'd be a great addition. All right.
Does she even have a stand? She doesn't need one.
No, she's just her physical abilities. Well, I mean, we could pick. We were allowed to pick like pillar men and spin users and Haman users and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think ended up doing that at all.
I'm just thinking, like, what do you do in that situation?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess
sometimes a big person can just like style on you without any extra ability.
Bro, that's one of my favorite tropes. Is a non-superpowered character fighting a superpowered character, and they know that they're not going to win, but they're still putting in the fucking work. Shout out Moomin Rider. Anyway. We're closing the store for the rest of the day. We're all going into the back office to talk to Meryl May-Key. Meryl May-Kwai? Meryl May-Key? Meryl May-Key. Also,
Could
you know what's
Meryl
funny?
May-Chi. Could be Chi.
Could be. earlier when the Dragona was getting felt up by the cop, he says something that, like, women have more hiding places than men. And that's actually a line from Metal Gear Solid. Meryl says that. Where Snake's like, I don't know where you're going to hide it, though. You'll have to figure that out on your own. And Meryl says, it's all right. Women have more hiding places than men. And he's like, huh.
Araki's been playing Metal Gear.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he has, because we got that quote reference, and then her name is Meryl. Anyway, she invested in the boutique. Her main job is school principal. Her side job is proprietress of a fashion boutique. And she's a mother. And she's a career criminal. So she's just like a crazy superwoman that can do it all.
Look at this bunny girl on the wall behind her.
Oh yeah.
What is that? Is that a is that like an oversized ribbon or something, or
I don't know.
hairband or something? I don't know.
Maybe she's a fursuiter. Maybe we got furries in JoJo now. The same chapter we get trans people, we also get furries. Fuck yeah.
Dua Lipa exists, therefore furries.
Dua Lipa exists. You know what's funny is that I like that we're doing all this modern stuff and she tells everybody to turn their phones off. But because we're in the future, we're in the modern day, I'm like, so, like, I don't know how to say this. So, like, famous people are still alive, right? Because the people who made these songs and the people who made the songs the stands are named after. Like, in universe, there's a Guns N' Roses with a November Rain. Isn't there? Or is there not? Do people know that their stands are the titles of songs? Or do the songs not exist?
I don't know. It's weird. This is
I don't
like
think...
a weird example of what TV tropes calls the celebrity paradox, where like
yes,
when you watch a movie and like
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are in it and they play themselves, but they are also playing characters in the movie.
Yeah, so like you see like I think it was like it wasn't Last Starfighter, it was Last Action Hero, I think, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's standing next to like a standee for the Terminator, but the Terminator is played by what's his name? Sylvester Stallone.
That's crazy. What a great answer to that little problem. Yes, the Terminator still happened. It just went slightly different. Somebody else played that role. Because you always think, like, well, if you're here and the actor that you are really exists in this world, then what does he look like? I don't know. I'm glad you know the TV Tropes page name of it. I've never known the actual name of this problem to identify it. Anyway. I like how she tells everybody to turn their phones off because we are in 2023, and of course you're not going to discuss crimes around your fucking smartphone. And then we see the crazy diamond. And this crazy diamond, I don't even want to talk about it because who cares? The important thing is that a plane that took off from Narita Airport arrived at Kona Airport 2 days ago. One Japanese person gave a customs declaration that they had this diamond when they entered the country. That person, Japanese person, owns a villa on Hawaii Island. Now,
there's no name for this diamond yet.
There's not. I'm just calling it the crazy diamond.
We don't know what the MacGuffin is called.
And it shall shine on.
That's the real reason we're still the Locacacast.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
If this,
you remember in the D4C. Sorry, go ahead.
If this diamond had had a name, we could have workshopped something.
Yeah, I doubt we would have been able to come up with a better pun name than the Locacacast. But since it is unnamed, we're sticking with the name we had. But do you remember the diamond reminds me of in
Steel Ball Run?
You know exactly what I'm going to say. You know exactly what I'm going to say.
They were racing for like MacGuffins.
Yeah.
Diamonds.
Yeah, because there weren't corpse parts. Corpse parts, and this is one of my favorite panels in all of JoJo, where Valentine, he's like, here, the world where everything is based. Because this is the prime timeline, this is where everything is based. But, like, the world where everything is based. based. I like it. I like reading it wrong. I like reading the other meaning of based. Anyways, but yeah, in the other timelines, there were no corpse parts. They were racing for diamonds or other valuable things that they wanted. But, you know, it just makes me think of that. So this honestly makes me think that this is not at all the MacGuffin for the story. This is our inciting incident, but I don't think by the end this diamond's going to be important at all. But I want to talk about who that Japanese person is, Chris. When you read that, didn't alarm bells go off in your head? Didn't you go, whoa, 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 whoa? A Japanese person who owns a villa on Hawaii Island? Do you remember the bit where everybody in the Higashikata family was going to take a vacation to Hawaii, but then they couldn't go because Hato didn't get her passport? It's said that the family owns a villa in Hawaii, and they go there for vacation sometimes, but they couldn't go because Hato didn't get her passport.
So we didn't really get we didn't quite get the brother sister forming the JoJo
not
team,
quite.
but what we did get is one Joestar group versus another Joestar group.
Oh, I fucking hope so, dude. Jesus Christ. Because, like, okay, who... And here's the thing. It says a plane from Japan got here 2 days ago. One Japanese person gave a customs declaration that they had this diamond when they entered the country. That Japanese person owns a villa on Hawaii Island. There is a customs declaration from a Japanese person. But that doesn't mean they're the only one who came. Just that someone, Japanese, was holding the thing. There could be multiple characters. It could be somebody reoccurring, or it could be somebody completely new. But you know I'm fucking praying to heaven and hell and God and Satan and every other deity that this is going to be Josuke or Yasuo or even fucking Joshu. I would take Joshu. Jesus Christ. Tsurugi, 10 years older. Please, anybody. Is Norisuke still alive at this point? It is his villa. I don't know. But I'm fucking crossing my fingers and my toes.
Higashikata family versus the family.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm crossing my fingers and my toes and everything I've got that this is going to be recurring characters. Because he says no amount of stand users would have been enough. So imagine it's Josuke and they show up there thinking they're going to rob some non-superpowered people and he just starts fucking blasting Go Beyond bullets at them. Or what if it's Yasuo and she's here by herself and she calls Josuke on the phone back home and is like, hey buddy, I'm going to need you to shoot some Go Beyonds into this telephone right now.
We should probably keep the theory crafting to a minimum because we really got burned on that last season.
But also, I think even though we got burned and a lot of our theories didn't come out like we thought, I feel like the speculation is so much a part of the fun for me now that I don't know if I can turn that part of my brain off. And also, I still really want to go back and go through the first season of the Locacacast, even though it's a fucking lot of footage, and get, like, our best moments, the funniest stuff, the predictions that ended up being true, the predictions that ended up being wrong and now just read as coping. I still want to make that best of season 1 video. And, you know, if I had been holding myself back from speculating that whole time, I don't think the video would be as interesting. Of course, I say this having not made it yet.
Oh, they deconfirmed that it's a group. It says they have no companions, they're alone.
Oh, Christ. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize that. According to this ESTA? The ESTA? The estimation? The ESTA? What is an ESTA? This Japanese person is planning to stay here for 15 days. They have no companions. They're alone. They should be here for 12 more days or so. Okay, so I'm immediately dead wrong about the possibility of it being more than one person. However, it's still up in the air whether this is a recurring character or somebody new. Of course, all my fingers and toes and hairs on my entire body are standing on end, and I'm crossing my fingers.
It's not Norisuke because his stand has no combat potential, therefore he's not really that much of a threat.
Yeah. Man. Anyway, so stealing a diamond. And this little...
Josuke is really the only one on that threat level.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Tsurugi.
I mean, I guess if
you know how fucking dangerous was Tsurugi?
If Tsurugi gets a hit on Jodio, then
tricking
He could take
Jodio
out
into attacking his own
He
friends.
could take out the whole team on his own, probably.
Yeah. You remember how threatening and terrifying Tsurugi's power was in, like, when Tsurugi was fucking 8 years old? Imagine 10 more years of getting the fucking hang of it. Like, it was a fucking existential nightmare when Josuke and Yasuo were trapped under the effects of Paper Moon King. And it just said Sesame Bun Cafe, Honey Sesame Cafe, Sesame Honey Cafe.
It would be
everywhere.
like 7 more. It would be like 7 more years.
Yeah. How old were they? 10, 11?
Like 8 or something.
Because JoJolian took place in 2011. And it was all, like, that summer. Like, you know, Josuke goes into the... Josefumi and Kira go into the ground and fuse.
Okay, my
into
mistake.
Josuke.
It'd be 8 more years then.
Yeah. I don't know if this is 2020 or 2021.
This is 2019.
This? No,
Yeah.
COVID's happened. We got COVID already.
It's late 2019.
No, dude, I was there. I know about this. We didn't start hearing about COVID. Well, we heard about it at the end of 2019, but it wasn't something that everybody was talking about, and it's the only thing on all of our minds until, like, February of 2020. I got a job at Pizza Hut in January, and thus far nothing had changed. You know, it wasn't a big deal yet. People were talking about it, but they were like, yeah, whatever, it's just a cold. By February, and then into March, it was like, whoa, everything's changing. We gotta fucking... But the thing is, they're not wearing masks. So I feel like this is 2021 or 22. I feel like this is a little later into the pandemic, and people are a little bit more lax about it, just like we are in real life now. But it's not locked down. I guess it doesn't really matter. But characters from JoJolian who would possibly appear here are going to be at least 9 years older. Or 8. They're going to be older. So their designs are going to be updated. That's all I'm saying. If we get a returning character, they're going to have a new design, and that is going to be fucking cool.
You know what? I think it's possible that it is Josuke, because Josuke would be here on a mission to try and find more of that Locacacast fruit.
Sorry, I was hitting my vape for a moment there. I just snapped to let you know I haven't dropped out of the call. I'm still here and I'm still listening. Anyway.
I thought that was clapping. Like,
that's okay.
Like I had a really great idea, and you were applauding me.
Well, you know, in the coffee shop, when people do their slam poetry, you get snaps instead of claps. So maybe I was clapping for you in a way. But anyways, that thing that you just said there about him going to the subtropical islands and finding more Locacacasts, I think that is super plausible. And I think that, here's my hope, right? I hope we encounter Josuke and we learn a little bit more about what happened in the rest of his story. Because it seemed like in chapter 110, when he talks to Yasuo and he mentions there may be more fruits in the islands to the south, you know, where they originated. And he says something that implies like he might be going there to get them or to stop them from falling into the wrong hands. So that strikes me as like Jotaro's journey after part 3 to get the rest of the arrows, you know?
If this character is somebody we know, then they need to catch us up on them anyway, because we need to know how they got the diamond.
Right. Well, I don't know. The Higashikatas are rich. They could have it for any number of reasons. But yes, we do also need to know that, because why would you bring the diamond and put a target on your back if it's not useful in some way? But the fucking... I really want to encounter Josuke and to have him be like, yes, I am here for the fruits. You see, I am Jotaro after part 3, gathering up the remaining MacGuffins. Like, he gathered the arrows. And I'm here to continue gathering these things. I have already healed my mom. Everything's going great. I'm happily married, you know? I just want to see him like, my skin's glowing. I'm healthy. My love life's great. I'm not wearing a hat anymore. No, oh my god, that'd be so sad if he doesn't wear the hat anymore.
My name is Josuke Higashikata. I'm 33 years old. And, you know.
And my memories...
the whole speech.
I'm Josuke Higashikata.
Dude, if he did the whole speech.
Yeah. And he's like, my
Because
memories from
he
when
is
I was
part, he is
born
part
are
Kira.
gone. But for these last 9 years, I've been living peacefully with my adopted family and my new wife, Yasuo. That would
Because he
be
is
so
part
sweet.
Kira.
He is. He is.
So.
Anyway, I really, 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 really want that to be a returning character. But at some point inside of myself, I'm thinking, like, maybe that's way too wishful thinking. That's way too wishful of a thought. You know, like, it's pretty early to give me a connection to the previous part. You know, like, what if this doesn't have anything to do with JoJolian? But the fact that it's a Japanese tourist is immediately piquing my interest, you know?
I like how this diamond is so shiny that even the picture of it on the phone screen is like throwing off these beams of light.
Bitch, turn your brightness down. My God. Also, I thought you told us to all turn our phones off. Why do you get to have your phone on? Unfair.
Because she's got to show them the picture of the diamond.
Because she's the fucking boss.
It's very important that you know what the diamond looks like.
Anyway, so then we are getting the team assembled. Will we go or not? Looks like we're going. It's settled. Oh, and you'll be going as a team of 4. It's a pretty large property. You're looking for 1 small diamond. Hot dog man! He comes in eating the hot dog. Is that a hot dog? Is that a sandwich? Honestly, the American JoJo fan base has been calling that a sandwich, but looking at it now, a hot dog. But looking at it now, it kind of reminds me of like the pork katsu sandwiches that Kira would buy in Morio and eat them with his hand, girlfriend. Not necessarily a hot dog.
You know, Mister was right. They're going as a team of 4, so obviously it's gonna go wrong.
Oh no. You're fucking right. I didn't even really think about that. Oh Christ. Alright, well this just seems like this is just one of those moments where like we have our main JoJo team of like people who we trust and are competent, but then we're forced to just bring some dingus along. You know, this guy's gonna be the Joshu. He's gonna be the Shigeki Oyangu. Or the, what's he called? Shigechi. Why did I say his full name? I don't know. I've got a mind like a steel trap, Chris. I remember all the Japanese names from all the parts. Yotsuyu Yagiyama, ring the bell! Ring that bell!
Ding, 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 ding.
That was me hitting a beer can with my keys. That's close enough. I need to get a real bell. Anyway, This is ominous. This moment where this 4th guy joins, and they don't really trust him, but whatever, they're going to do it. 1 diamond worth $6 million. Just going to Hawaii Island, doing a burglary on a rich person's villa, coming straight back. So at the moment, he's thinking this is just going to be in, out, simple, easy, nobody gets hurt. It's a big job, but we can do it. And then at the end, the boss did call one thing correctly. Just the 3 of us would seriously not have been enough. Actually, it wouldn't have been enough no matter how many people we had. That's such an ominous thing because, like, is there truly a problem that, like, an army of stand users together could not solve? The only thing I can think of is a fucking protagonist stand.
And then you get the page with all the stand names.
So fucking cool.
And this was where I popped off because I called it earlier.
Yeah.
Jodeo's stand name, and then I see November Rain. I'm like, yeah,
let's go. And you called it in the absence of other people on Twitter figuring it out, and you just looking at them and being like, yeah, that's probably true.
Absolutely.
Which is what I did.
No, the only thing I knew going in was.
Oh, you didn't even see the November. You didn't even see the November on his collar. So you literally just like raw ass guessed that on Wake Up. You fucking got up in Street Fighter and just supered instantly. Raw ass guess.
The hard read.
Hard read, yeah. That's beautiful. I love this last page here because I love that he's like, all right, this is a new story. We're starting fresh. We're just getting rolling. We're starting with a fucking heist. We've got this little group of petty criminals, these little charming characters. And immediately right at the end, he's like, I'm not going to make you guys wait. Here are their stand names. And I think that this is so cool as like these are our core group of stand users and these are their stands names because I love all 3 of these so much. I don't know the song November Rain, but I know Smooth Operator and I know The Hustle, and I love both those songs, and I just feel like the team comp of these names is fucking awesome. November Rain, Smooth Operators, and The Hustle. That's so cool. Like, it's a great little group of names.
There are also 4 Smooth Operators. I went back and checked, and the maximum that I ever see Dragona using is 4.
Okay, well, more bad luck. Mista somewhere is rolling in his fucking grave. Oh. And that's the chapter. And it's cool. Our characters get little logos. Jodio's got the heart wings thing from the front of his jacket. Dragona's got her cool Dragon D. And Paco's like a melting ice cream cone.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. Since when do characters get little logos in JoJo? That's new.
I'm trying to think, because, like, parts have logos, right?
They get new titles. Oh, no. You're talking about, like, part 6 is the butterfly. You know, part 5 is the arrow. Part 4 is the Morio town symbol?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to decide for some. But, you know, part 1 is the stone mask. Part 2 would be the red stone of Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I love the little logos. I think that's a wonderful touch. I hope we get those for our other characters as well. I think it's neat. But yeah, that's the first chapter of JoJoLands, man. And it took us 2 entire hours just to talk and express our feelings and thoughts and just to get through the chapter. Which is great. That's something I've always loved about doing this podcast with you, my friend, is that it doesn't really take a lot of trying from either of us to fill time talking about JoJo. Like, we've got so much in our heads, we just got to spill it.
Yeah. I like that we were able to get out a tight 2 hours here.
Yeah. Well, what else do we want to talk about? I mean, we've hit the end of the chapter, and all I really have to say is that I'm fucking extremely excited. I think this is a great start to the part.
I don't really have anything else I want to talk about.
All right, well, let me end on a movie comparison. You said you hadn't seen Reservoir Dogs, but have you seen Jackie Brown?
No.
Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
I have seen Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Okay, that's not as strong of a comparison. Have you seen Snatch, the Guy Ritchie film?
Nope.
Damn, son. You and I, we should watch along. We should do a watch along of Snatch. I don't care
nice.
I don't care if it is like content. We could just watch it on Discord, just being homies. We don't need to like upload it and do a commentary. We could. I don't know. It doesn't need to be content, but Snatch, the Guy Ritchie film, is one of my favorite movies, and it's sort of an awesome, low stakes, funny crime thriller. It's not funny in the way that, like, it's not Marvel movie, like the characters are quipping and not taking shit seriously. It's like darkly humorous. Like, it's a comedy of errors. We have multiple teams of characters vying for the same MacGuffin. Oh, it's actually a diamond in Snatch too. It's like a particularly big, particularly valuable diamond. So we have multiple teams of characters that all have the same goal: get that fucking diamond. And for different reasons. One of them just wants it for money. One of them wants it to give to somebody who's going to kill them unless they pay their debts. The other guys don't even know that they want it, but they end up pursuing it anyway because of where the narrative takes them. So I saw Snatch, and then JoJo Part 8 ended, and I was so sad because Snatch is such a much better we don't have enough MacGuffin to go around type of story, you know? Multiple teams of characters vying for the same thing. And Snatch has a nice, satisfying, like, oh shit, oh my god, I can't believe, you know, I thought the story was just gonna end with sadness and like, well, we're back where we started, broke again, but then there's a nice little final bing. So, I don't know, when I watched Snatch, I was like, wow, JoJolian could learn a thing or two from this. This is how you do, like, the best parts of JoJolian, like the bit where Tsurugi and Jobin collaborate to steal the branch. That shit reminds me of Snatch. Like, that's got dramatic irony. The characters don't know what the audience knows. It's fucking great. So I love this movie Snatch by Guy Ritchie. And I would also liken this chapter to it because it's like we got this quirky crime story and we got these neat characters, and they're all coming at it from different angles. And it also reminds me of Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown, another quirky crime story by Tarantino. And, this has really given me those kind of vibes. It's like, it's a heist, but it's also a weird hangout movie where we're just spending time with these funny characters and knowing their inner lives. So, I don't know. This is reminding me of all of my favorite quirky, fun crime thriller movies. And that is a great thing to be reminding me of. All very positive comparisons.
Well, I hope it's able to keep this momentum up, because from what I've seen so far, it looks really good.
Really strong start, I must agree. But I think that is the return of the Locacacast. I think we did it.
Season 2, baby!
Season 2, baby! It's gonna be deeper. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be better. We're gonna get more things wrong. I like how, the podcast has come back, and now we're fucking doing it again. Because there was a period of my life from August of 2021 up until basically just now, where I have been longing to do this again. It's very fun reading a new JoJo chapter as it comes out and speculating on it. But the fact that we do this podcast, that like doubles or triples the enjoyment for me. Because it's like I have a little book club to go to every month and talk about the new developments. I think it's fantastic. I'm glad we do this.
And it's a unique experience to go in knowing nothing.
Right. Almost every manga I've ever read has been either completed or like 300 chapters deep. So it's very rare for me that I have to wait for new chapters. I usually wait until something's done and then read it all at once. But JoJo's too good. Can't wait. It's going to take fucking 10 years. These chapters release monthly. And if JoJoLands any indication, the parts are just getting longer and longer. You think Araki's just going to work on this one till he dies? Like, how many more parts of JoJo can there legitimately be? He's like 65 now, isn't he? I'm looking it up. I got it. Araki age. 62 years. Cool.
God, I hope he doesn't die before he finishes this. That would be really sad.
Yeah, that would be extremely sad. I don't know why I said that. But now if it happens, I can go back to this moment in the podcast and be like, I am so sorry. I spoke this into existence. I predicted it, and now we're never going to get an ending. But, I think...
Well, then you have to finish it, Zach.
No, I think
to write the ending of JoJoLands.
I want to go back and fix JoJoLian first. I don't want to work on this yet. You know what I want to do? Have I already told you about this? I want to make an RPG Maker game about JoJoLian.
Yeah, I believe you mentioned this in the last episode.
I don't know what the battle system would be like. Maybe there is no battle system, but maybe it's just a visual novel. But the idea that, JoJoLian was so long and so tightly constructed and had so many details and so many moving parts. This action causes this action, which causes this. I feel like at any point along the way, you could add a choose-your-own-adventure element where, like, do you want to do what canonically happened, or do you want to do the other thing? And then we could explore those possibilities. The only thing is when you start doing that and you make branching paths a feature of your game, you really gotta fucking make a lot more stuff than you would if it was linear. The branching paths, it's like exponential. But anyway, I want to make that game. I'm not a game developer. I don't know how the fuck to even go about starting that. But, shitty little pixel art RPG Maker JoJoLian game, but choose your own adventure elements. The story can end different. That's my dream. I want to make that. I'm going to hang up this phone call and go buy a book on how to use RPG Maker now.
Alright.
Is there anything else you wanted to say to close out the episode?
Well, see you next time, I guess.
See you, Space Cowboy.